The murder trial of former Houston Police Department narcotics officer Gerald Goines is now in the hands of the jury. They started deliberating this afternoon after both sides finished their arguments. This case is very important to the city of Houston, and that is why we are bringing you into the trial with the bench. KPRC2 investigates Mario Diaz joining us now live at the courthouse. And Mario, a lot of emotion packed into the standing room only courtroom.
Yeah, Danny, keep in mind, this is a case that's been over 5 years in the waiting. You have to remember this botched raid, a deadly raid took place in January of 2019, and it was no doubt standing room only inside of a courtroom. Let me take you inside earlier today, show you what the scene was like. You had supporters from the families of Dennis Tuttle and Regina Nicholas who were sitting behind the state, the prosecution, and then you had supporters of Gerald Goines and his family and friends supporting him. You also had District Attorney Kim Ogg, who made a cameo before the closing arguments with members of her team. Both sides each had about 90 minutes to make their closing arguments. The state called Goines a liar and manipulator during their presentation, saying that he manipulated HPD officers from the beginning to when he was in the hospital recovering. The defense made Regina Nicholas and Dennis Tuttle out to be drug users and sellers, that the warrant that they used to get into the home actually had accurate information. Even though you have to keep in mind that Goines never went to the home before the deadly raid. Let's hear how the defense portrayed Tuttle as a deadly marksman, while the state said that he had every right to shoot anyone who busted into his home.
I'm not going to ask, hey, is this the police in my home? He's coming around the corner, as they so eloquently told us. He's coming around the corner. He can see his dog is dead on the floor. He can see his wife getting shot. So he's not going to come around the corner asking questions about who is this firing in my home. It doesn't make sense.
Now we've got another officer coming through the door to try to save Lovings. Tuttle, standing in the open doorway as close as I am to you, looks at that officer and shoots him in the face. Goines tries to come in and pull his men out, never making it past the porch, never pulling a firearm into a position to use it, never discharging a single shot, only to rescue the fallen men, and gets shot in the face so badly that he goes unconscious and has to ultimately be taken to the hospital.
And now what you have is the jury hearing what was said in closing arguments today, examining all of the evidence and deliberating on this case. It is unknown, of course, as to when a verdict will be rendered, but when it does, KPRC2 will have complete coverage both on air as well as online. That's the very latest down here live at the courthouse. Mario Diaz, KPRC2 News.
We'll keep an eye on that verdict. Thank you so much, Mario. Today